Do you think there is humor in the Bible?
Oh, yeah.
So where?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure you'll know what to say quite on this one, but
Uh-oh.
what does the Bible say about climate change? We've had several games this year. I think some of us are viewing the refs as our enemy rather than the other team. But
Okay. And if this gets out to refs, confess your sins. It's faithful and just. Relish. Pleasing or zestful flavor.
a quantity just sufficient to flavor, to be pleased or gratified by, enjoy.
We are hoping that what we bring to your table today might add some spice to your life.
Welcome back to another episode of Relish. I am Roa Miller. This is Don Patterson. Don, how are you doing?
I think I'm recovering. Yes, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Last question last time just sort of has me fahoodled,
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was the question again?
It was, what is a question about God you still don't have the answer to?
Yeah. And partially I have the answer, but it still frustrates me.
Okay.
Why it seems like when things are going so well, all of a sudden there has to be this that comes through. Everything moves right along and we're all happy, and then all of a sudden somebody dies. Experiencing a lot of victories, and then all of a sudden that heartfelt defeat.
Mm-hmm.
Family's going well, and then all of a sudden this issue comes up, and it just sort of breaks everything apart. Churches are going well, and lots of things are happening and going well, and then all of a sudden, one question comes forth, and it just changes everything. And have you noticed how many times those things happen? And, I want to ask God why. And on the flip side, I think I know. It's not so much God doing, but God allows Satan to bring those things in on those moments that mess things up. And I think about Job. Everything was going great for Job, and he was good in God's eyes. And in fact, God's sort of proud of him. God was sort of proud of him. And says, "Oh, Satan, have you considered my servant?" And that's sort of my answer to, in my mind. So I still want to ask God, how's come? How's come? And how's come he leaves us to those times? Because it does seem like when things get going well, all of a sudden, there's something comes in and changes things quickly. And that's always been a problem. Yeah.
Right.
Frustration, if you will.
Yeah. I think about Job, what I always think about is how like we should be like Job, not in the obvious sense that he was faithful through it all, but the fact that the Lord was like willing to put him to the test because he knew his faith was so strong and he knew he wouldn't ever turn on him.
The problem is, I think God thinks my faith is stronger than I do.
Yeah.
And so I get to that spot and I say, Lord, really? Do you think I'm ready for this? I mean, really, Lord?
True.
I'm not sure I think I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
And then in one way or another, we have to prove our mettle, prove our strength, prove the strength of our faith. Otherwise, how would we grow?
Yeah.
I mean, James says, consider it pure joy, when you endure trials of many kinds, because the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Perseverance must finish its work, leaving you mature, complete, not lacking anything. Well, like all of us are ready for that, right? Yeah, put me to the test, Lord. I'm ready, Lord.
Yeah.
No, that's not the case. Even so, we will get tested.
Right.
The question then is, in the midst of the test, how do we look at it? Is this a defeat or is it a victory? And I choose to look at the test as an opportunity to declare victory.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise it's just defeat all over.
Right.
And so So it's a question. I still want to ask God that question, because in the midst of that, somehow or another, he's allowing Satan that parameter to work in.
Mm-hmm.
Or I've allowed it. There is that question as well. Maybe I've allowed it. Are you ready for your question?
I am now, yeah.
How could your unique life help you share faith with someone?
Unique life.
See, how could your unique life help you share your faith with someone? Can you believe, Rowan, that God shaped you like he did for a reason?
Partially.
Oh, come on.
I mean, I do, but yeah.
Unique life.
Yeah. I think as at a private school where most everybody is a believer already, then I'm not doing a ton of trying to make others believe or teach them about the word necessarily. We have conversations about it, of course, but I'm not helping mentor them into the process of becoming a believer so much. But I think just God made me somewhat athletic and
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
in certain areas, and so I think I've been able to connect with people through sports and outside of school as well.
Good.
So
every guy you rush and you knock down on the field, you still help up.
Most of the time, yeah. Sometimes I'm too I'm just gassed and I'm just trying to survive out there. But yeah, if I think about it, if it crosses my mind, then I do. But
yeah, it's how you play the game,
right?
That's what I enjoy about watching you guys play, is the way you play a game. It's very, very, very competitive, but not so competitive that the other team is your enemy.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be done. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've had several games this year. I think some of us are viewing the refs as our enemy rather than the other team. But
okay. And if this gets out to refs, confess your sins. It's faithful and just. Sorry.
Preach, Don. Go tell him.
Go tell him. Oh my. You never know where these this videos end up. So we need to cover that base as we go.
Maybe, yeah. Let's see. Do you think there is humor in the Bible?
Oh yeah.
So where?
Oh yeah.
You have an example?
I think even Jesus was humorous.
Okay.
Talk about getting the camel through the eye of the needle.
Yeah.
I mean, really, get real. That's going to happen. And as I read through, well, even in that passage at the beginning, because that individual calls Jesus righteous, and Jesus says, "Well, who's righteous other than God Himself?" It's almost as if, wait a minute, who do you think you are? Who do you think I am?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And I think you could almost read that as if Jesus was saying, get real. Who do you think I am?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he goes with the Zacchaeus. I mean, isn't that funny? Little guy goes up tree and he says, I'm having dinner with you.
And we wrote a funny little song about it too.
Yeah, that's I'm not sure Jesus wrote the song, but it's a funny little song about Zacchaeus. I mean, why? Why the little guy in the tree does Jesus point out and say, "Hey, yeah, I'm going to your house today."
Right.
There's several. Okay, I was thinking. Don't you? This is Matthew 7. Why do you look at the speck in the brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own? Isn't that sort of an interesting illustration? So, speck in an eye and compared to a plank. How can you say to your brother, "Let me take that speck out of your eye," while there's a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite! Take the plank out of your own eye, and you'll see clearly to remove the speck from the brother's eye. Then you go into that next one. You see that next one?
Yep.
Don't give dogs what's sacred. Don't throw your pearls before pigs. If you do, they'll trample them under the feet and turn and tear you into pieces. Well, that's not exactly a beautiful thing, but it's sort of funny.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, several of these are sort of funny.
Yeah.
He's giving illustrations, solid illustrations. I think Jesus had a good sense of humor. Probably better than any of us. And he used it to his advantage.
Yeah.
I can't imagine him sitting in the or speaking in the temple gates inside the temple and talking to the Pharisees in chapter 23 of Matthew. And woe to you, Pharisees and teachers of the law. Yeah. And he might have been dead serious.
That's true.
But
can't tell.
He might have been humorous. Now, maybe that's how he got out alive that day.
Yeah. Yeah, there were several occasions like that where he just somehow slipped out. But
yeah. And if he meant it sort of humorously, then it could have gotten by that day, where otherwise he could have been hung on the cross that very afternoon. Because he's very pointed, almost to the point of, I mean, a comedian can get by with things like that. I just read an article not very long ago about how the king of France, they were trying to tell him that he had lost his armada, the whole armada, in a skirmish, and everybody was afraid to tell him that they lost their armada. But the court jester put it in the midst of a story and got the message to the king that the whole armada had been destroyed. And so sometimes the jester can say things that the ambassador could not with a straight face say, but the gesture could get the point across without getting
something hit. Yeah, same thing.
Losing his head that day, that kind of thing. And so I think Jesus often would have used humor. Yeah, there's some other spots. I'm trying to think of other humor places.
Yeah,
and
whether humorous or not, though, he used allusions and illustrations. Really well to help us understand.
For sure. And of course, when it's written like it is written in the text, the fact that the disciples were very clear to get his exact words down, we see that as we look at the harmony of the Gospels, that the writers were very serious about Jesus' words. They took it they wanted to get as close as they could, the exact words.
Yeah.
Honoring his words that much, they lost probably any inflection, humorous or sad, or we do get Jesus wept. So we know that he was sad at that point. We just don't know exactly what was causing his sadness.
Yeah.
In John chapter 11.
Yeah.
Good question. Good. Whoever had that question, that's a good question. I'm sorry. I almost was stumped on that one. Very close.
I'm not sure you'll know what to say quite on this one, but what does the Bible say about climate change?
Genesis 6. I think the fact that we have Genesis 6, we have also Genesis 11. You could say that it is especially in the book of Genesis. I'm not sure we have it a lot of other places except in the book of Revelation. So we know about the flood, and that's a major shift. It's a major shift in climate because at no point before chapter 6 is the event called rain mentioned before that.
Okay.
When we get to chapter 6, notice it's not just rain that happens, but it's actually that the waters come from below the earth up. And it is not just from we often think of flood, and we think of the flood being rain, because that's what happens in our time. But when we go to in the 100th year, all the springs of the deep. Notice in verse 11 of chapter 7, it's the springs of the great deep burst forth, the floodgates of heaven, that would be rain, were opened, and rain fell on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. But it also, in addition to rain, it's water from the earth coming up. And that's major climate shift.
Yeah.
And that would be one of the things that a shift in climate, and then it also becomes a shift in how we approach the climate in chapter 9. And then when you go into chapter 11, I believe it is, I'm looking here. No, here it is in chapter 10, excuse me. There's a shift also in verse 25 of chapter 10. Two of the sons born of Eber, one was named Peleg, because in his time the earth was divided. His brother was named Joachim. And then Peleg is mentioned in the next chapter. So you have a seismic shift, and this is believed to be where the continental shift happened. So so that, one of the problems that's in the text is that if the flood happened and all the animals were on one vessel, how did we get animals all over the world? Well, that happened before the continents shifted apart. And you can actually trace the species from place to place that way. And so all the species were in chapter 6 and 7, and then 8, and then 9. They start away from the ark. And then in chapter 10, after they've assimilated out the continent, then the continents shift and break apart and move.
Interesting.
And Peleg, it actually means fire. So you can see it as a seismic event that would have shaped the world. So when you talk about climate change, I'd say these 3 chapters probably beget the biggest note that we have in the Bible of climate change.
Yeah.
And the fact that the deserts grew over time as well. It wasn't, there were places in the Bible that are now desert. Nobody's at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody'd want to be at.
Nobody's living out there.
Fertile Crescent, where a lot of things are, it's not fertile anymore. It's not that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good question. Will there be climate change again? Just look at the book of Revelation. There's a lot of climate change in Revelation. It's the whole earth changes in almost with each bowl, almost with each horseman, each bowl. Trying to think what the other is, and the seals. The earth changes in every one of those.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of climate change, a lot of changes to the earth when you get into the book of Revelation. So look what we have to look forward to, Yeah. Well, hopefully, I'm believing that we're all gone by then and we're raptured and don't have to worry about that.
Hopefully.
But that's just one old preacher's approach.
Yeah. Alrighty, I think that about wraps it up. Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Rowan.
Thank you guys for joining us, and
good questions.
Share it with somebody that would find it interesting. So,
Lord willing,
or
I hope so.
A friend that talks about climate change all the time. So,
showing those places.
Yeah,
they're right there in the Bible. See, I've got it highlighted.
Oh yeah, no, so you got your old Bible today.
I have my old Bible today.
Yeah,
I decided I can't do without the notes.
might be more useful in this setting.
Yeah, in this setting, I need that my teaching Bible. Yeah,
All right. Alrighty, thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Lord willing.
Thank you for joining us for this podcast. Feel free to become part of this ministry by sharing it with others. Our goal is to help each other grow deeper in our understanding of who God is and His calling to us in our daily lives. Thank you again for joining us, and may God bless your day.